What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Shadowlands video. Did my voice just crack? What the hell was that? Zuko back. Listen. Nobody heard that, okay? Everything's fine. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing very well. We are continuing with more Mythic Plus. Another dungeon today, right? We did a MISTS, a plus 15 MIST. We'll get to that in a minute. First of all, this transmog, this is from Berno once again. I just got to keep highlighting how ridiculous this thing is. This is not my fault, okay? I was not... Anyway, it's actually a pretty good transmog. Listen, I hope you guys are doing very well. I have my second light going from Mag. Thank you once again for that, for the gifts that you sent. Very appreciative of that. We're going to continue on with the Mythic Plus stuff. We are pushing towards 3K IO rating. That's what we're trying to get to, which means we need to do all of our dungeons at about a 19 or a 20, I think, probably, realistically speaking. So this is a good week to push, and we're going to get into that. This dungeon that we did today is only a 15, I know that, but I'm just sort of showcasing this build that I haven't run a whole lot yet. And I want to show you guys how well this build kind of works. And let's get into the details of what it is. So just give me a second here. Let me move this over here. Okay, so let's look at what legendary did I pick. Of course, we were running SKYBREAKERS. Now, this has been strange. Some people really have no idea that this even works for Enhancement Shaman. I've had to explain it a few times to people, but it does. You don't get the Fire Elemental cooldown. So it says your Flame Shock crits reduce your Fire LE cooldown by 1 second. We don't have Fire LE, so it's good there. But it does give your Flame Shocks 50% increased critical strike chance. 50% crit. Why does that matter? Well, because you're also going to run VENTHYR. You're going to run VENTHYR with Chain Harvest. And the legendary effect for Chain Harvest says 5 friendly targets get Riptide, 5 enemy targets get Flame Shock put on them. And then, the most important part, Flame Shock critical strikes reduce the cooldown of Chain Harvest by 1 second. Okay. So Chain Harvest is a 1.5 minute cooldown. But in this dungeon that I did, I cast it 38 times in 22 minutes. So that's more than once a minute, right? 38, 22. That's about a minute every 45 seconds, I'm going to say. Let's just call it that. So basically every 45 seconds, I was casting Chain Harvest. That's pretty insane, right? That's pretty crazy. Instead of it being a minute and a half, on average, I cut that cooldown in half. And you're going to see on multiple pulls here in this dungeon that we do that I actually there's pulls where I'll get it 2 or 3 times on one pull. I'll get to cast Chain Harvest at least like twice on one pull, sometimes 3 times. So this build is very cool. It's all about your Flame Shock damage, of course, is going to be about 25% of your damage or so. And then Chain Harvest, you're going to get to cast it a lot more than you normally would because of the legendary effect giving reducing the cooldown of it by 1 second when your Flame Shocks crit. And then you're going to make all your Flame Shocks crit like all the time. So our Flame Shock crits, they crit 62% of the time, which makes sense because my crit chance is only 14 and I'm getting 50. That's about 64% crit chance. That's what I have on Flame Shock, and lo and behold, it crit 62% of the time. So that tracks for me. That makes sense, right? It would have been nice to get a little bit luckier, but on average, it works out to exactly what our critical strike chance was. So very, very cool. That's how this build works. What do we run for our Covenants and our talents? We run Lashing Flames, Hot Hand, Fire Nova. So it's all standard fire stuff. Very, very standard fire build. And then we're going to run Theatar, actually. We didn't run Nadi, we ran Theatar. Let me run over here so I can get it activated here. So we did, in fact, have... I'm at a rest spot. Good lord, this thing never works properly. Hello? There we go. So we ran this. Magma Fist, Focus Lightning, Lavish Harvest. This gives Chain Harvest 14% more crit on its own. Now, I should have more base crit going on with this build, but you actually can play this 2 different ways. You can really just index into Mastery to make all your Flame Shocks do more damage, or you can index into Crit to make your Flame Shocks crit more often, and Chain Harvest and everything else obviously crit more often, which is a perfectly legitimate way to build this. I think the crit way is better, actually, a little bit better. if you focus all your efforts on crit instead of mastery. But I like mastery. It just makes all your fire damage 67% better, which means your flame shocks hit like an absolute bus. So I'm okay with that. But I think the crit way is a legitimate way to play this build. So that's what we ran. Magma Fist, Focus Lightning, Lavish Harvest. We ran Lashing Flames, Hot Hand, Fire Nova. And, of course, the legendary combo is us getting 50% more crit chance on Flame Shock. And all those Flame Shock crits are reducing the cooldown of Chain Harvest. Now, on top of that, the off-healing is really good. Something people have talked about a lot. The off-healing is crazy. This was only a plus 15. So, like, realistically speaking, I didn't even get a full... Like, this was probably overhealing, like, a lot, right? Look at this. This overhealed for 76%. 76% of this was overhealed. So, like, imagine instead of it doing 900k, it would have done 1.5 million healing over the course of the dungeon. Like, Riptide also had 80% overhealing. Like, you can just see that there wasn't a whole lot of damage going out for me to be healing, but the off healing is there. This, instead of me doing 1.2k, that probably could have been like 3 or 4k off healing. So that is very, very cool. Something that the Necrolord stuff does not get at all. So I'm excited about that too. So let's jump into the VOD. Let's take a look at what happened here. This is just the opening packs here. It's a really, really big pull, and it's very, very cool that you're going to start the key casting your dogs before the key goes down, right? And then when you get into the key, you're going to have, I have 6 stacks of Maelstrom Weapon up here, you can see, and that means I can just throw my Chain Harvest right away, and it's going to do a buttload of damage. Like, watch this. Yeah, all this shit, yep. 41k. This just did, Chain Harvest just did 114,000 damage. That's the only button I've pressed, is my Chain Harvest. It did 114,000 damage in one press. Like, that's the power of this button, man. It's insane. So here's the opening pack. We're doing good damage. I haven't even pressed Fire Nova yet, which I should have. One thing I'm really bad at doing with the Fire Nova builds is pressing Fire Nova. When I, like, just every time. So I'm going to get better at that. This was, of course, Fortified, Explosive, and Raging. Sorry, Raging when they get to the in there. So we're doing 27k. It's good damage, guys. It's really good. I mean, you start it with a big burst. There's second Chain Harvest right there. Look at the cooldown of it come back. We're just going to watch it. 34, 30, 29, 27, 25, 22, 20, 19, 18, 15, 14, 13, 10, 9, 7, 5, 2, 1. It's back. Like, the more Flame Shocks you get out, the more they're critting, the quicker this comes back, and it's really awesome. So that was 2 Chain Harvests on 1 pull. And again, these mobs die kind of quickly at this point in the expansion. They're dying kind of quickly because it's only plus 15. But it is fortified, which means this build, I think this SKYBREAKERS VENTHYR combo is very, very good on fortified weeks. Like, I think it's really, really strong. Okay. True. Do we have? Yeah. So we kind of failed here, and we didn't kill the Wo Automa, which you should do there. You should kill the Wo Automa so that you can skip all these packs here, but we didn't, so we just improvised. Kindred, then just pull it. So that's a mistake. I wasn't really paying attention. I was just slapping damage. Pack, though. So we kind of have to do this the traditional way. So there's my first Chain Harvest back again on this pack. Watch the cooldown of Chain Harvest. 60, 56, 50, 49, 40. One thing I want to highlight really quickly here. Can we get past the next pack, though? Watch when I press this. Yeah. I'm going to get a Hot Hand proc here. I want you to notice something. I'm going to get a Hot Hand proc here, and when I do that, I'm tab targeting through enemies, and I'm hitting them with Lava Lash. That every time I hit them with Lava Lash, obviously it's applying the Lashing Flames debuff, but it refreshes all the Flame Shocks that are nearby, right? It adds 4 Flame Shocks kind of nearby. Even if there's a Flame Shock already ticking, it'll just refresh those Flame Shocks, but it also does a burst of Flame Shock damage, and that damage can crit. So, like, if I press Lava Lash, it spreads them really quickly, and if it was already ticking, like, I might have gotten a crit off the Lava Lash, or off the Flame Shock, sorry, already. So the Flame Shocks are out there. they crit, and then I spread a new set of Flame Shocks, and they crit again when I spread them. I want you to watch this closely. Watch the cooldown on Chain Harvest.
You know, some things don't work.
Okay, watch this. I'm going to press Lava Lash right now. It's at 105. Boom, it went to 60, like right there when I hit that button. It took 5 seconds off. Watch it again. I'm going to hit Lava Lash again in 2 seconds. 2, 1. I press it. It went from... Did you see that? Watch this one more time. Oh, I keep missing it. Shoot. It's like really hard to see it.
Do we have... Yeah. Can it get back?
I went back way too far. I'm really sorry. Okay, it's at 45 seconds right now. Lava Lash is coming off cooldown. Boom! It goes to 40 seconds. Do you see that? That's an instant 5 seconds. If you get that Hot Hand proc, it instantly gives you like 5 seconds off of Chain Harvest because you have this combo going. So like, not only does it work just intrinsically on its own, your Flame Shocks are critting and they're giving you every crit is giving 1 second off of Chain Harvest, but it seems when you get a Hot Hand proc and you're pressing it, every time you press it, it's giving you like 5 seconds off of Chain Harvest as well, just because you refresh and you add a new version of Flame Shock, and those can crit as well, and that gives you time. So it's a really cool combo. I just want to make sure you guys saw that because I didn't notice it before, and it just seems like really relevant to me that that happens. So,
man, this build slaps.
Again, we're doing 25k DPS on the next pack already, and Chain Harvest is back again. This is my second Chain Harvest in this pack. Like, it's so good. Really, really good. So then we have to skip here. You can actually just skip with Door of Shadows, which is cool. We just invised it, and I think that
do to that guy?
I forget how we didn't really have a good way to get past this. So
No, I don't think so.
It's hit or miss. Sometimes
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Poly puts you in combat.
but we had 2 druids.
Like, I should be able to poly and then invis out of it.
I think everybody was able to get past on their own, so we're good to go. So we pull this next pack. Nothing crazy here once again. The 4-target cleave. You can just see whenever you get the Hot Hand procs, like even this. Okay, I have a Lava Lash coming up right now. Let's see if it does it. 105 on Chain Harvest. I didn't get to press it there. It's hard to tell, but it just does seem like I showed that was pretty obvious in the last pull that it's just very powerful. That you can get additional cooldown reduction. We're not even pulling like If you also pull you get even more cooldown reduction. So it's just insane. So let's move to the boss. Let's go to Ingra 5955. So once again, as I'm always going to say with this boss fight, there's a fear that comes along that you need to kick, but spread those Flame Shocks right away. We're going to get a juicy Chain Harvest here in a second. There it is. Then we can reduce the cooldown of it with our Lava Lash. Lava Lash. Watch this. It's at 113 right now. We're going to press Lava Lash. Oh, Sundering first. There it is. It went down by 3 or 4 seconds. So just really cool that there's an additional piece of cooldown reduction there. You need to kick Ingra with Spirit Bolt as much as you possibly can. Particularly when the blue swirlies are coming out from the tree, you need to kick Ingra so that the tank can move the boss away from all the bad puddles on the ground. Repulsive Visage right here. You can see that. We're going to press our Tremor Totem. There it is. We get feared for 1 second, and then it snaps us out of it. So this is a huge thing. I don't know how other teams honestly do this dungeon without having a shaman to do that.
What?
Here we go. I'm saving Chain Harvest for this moment because it does extra damage, right? So we lust, we pop Chain Harvest, and we go. Big damage. Watch my Lava Lash. I'm doing 14k. Watch I get a Hot Hand proc. 15k, 16, 16.5, 17.7, 18.5, 19.1. It's just like 20k. You get so much damage. If you get a Hot Hand proc in this window, it's disgusting. So, that was awesome. There's Theatar going down. Theatar gives me Mastery. That's, of course, why I'm running him, because he puts the shade down. So we have like 500 and some extra Mastery right now. So we get our Chain Harvest back once again. I think we finish the boss with the Chain Harvest. And there you go. That's it. So very good. Now we're gonna get to the maze section. Lots of really good fights in the maze section, right? Because you get 4-target cleave, which is pretty solid for us.
Have that again. I need to.
You need to get
Okay.
try to get bucking rampage as much as you can,
Yep.
because otherwise it'll hit you like that and you'll almost die. Use your Cap Totem. This is where the off healing from Chain Harvest can be pretty huge. Here it comes. Big damage. We're doing 18k. It's really good. It's just good. Let's go to 109.
Patch that where the last couple ones are not static anymore.
Oh.
We're at the bus.
Oh, I got 26 seconds. Yes.
So of course,
Go, go, go.
with Mistcaller, you're always going to want to use Hex on the Vulpen that comes out. That's something you can do.
Watch the line.
That's a tool that you have, and it's pretty good for you to just do that. Other people will have options as well, but the reality is that you can use that every time. There's the Vulpen. I don't have Hex, so I actually failed really hard here and didn't have Hex on my bars. I'm hoping to like clean this up somehow. I don't have enough room for all the utility on the belt. I'm all out of like hotkey buttons as well. Like all my hotkey buttons are here, and like that's a lot of things. I have like 1 through 5, Shift 1 through 5, Control 1 through 5, Alt 1 through 5. It's like just a lot to do. I don't want to go past the 5 marker on my keyboard because then my fingers are just stretching like way too far. So I just didn't have Hex on my bars. But anyway, you should get Hex on there. Nothing crazy to say about this boss fight. You just need to be always watch out for the dodgeball, of course. Be careful about where you're standing.
I
So,
got wrecked.
but on Tyrannical, this is not too hard. On Tyrannical fights, though, on Tyrannical on Fortified weeks, this is not hard. On Tyrannical weeks, this boss is so annoying. It takes so long to kill. But basically, just Hex the Vulpen as much as you possibly can, and then focus really hard on killing the clones when they come out. Nothing crazy there. So then on the next pack, let me skip ahead here. So we actually, this is cool. Sorry, I jumped way far ahead. We get Wo here on this pack.
yeah.
So when you're done the Mistcaller boss, you're going to come down here and you get the Wo Automa, the Wo Drifter here. You're going to kill him, and then you're going to skip to the final boss.
We could do that, yeah. Yeah,
Because
Does what
the
it do.
the trash that's here is kind of annoying. It's not the funnest trash
Yeah,
to
it's
have
a
to
big
kill. So there's definitely better trash that you could be getting. And we get the Wo Automa
then
here,
we're
and then we
gonna
skip ahead
come back
all
and
the
do
way to the
one
final
time.
boss. And we have 43 seconds on the Automa, so there's lots of time there.
The 3 frost bolts cleaving it is a cool animation.
And we have Lust up as well, so this is a good time to go do it. Again, you're always trying to make sure that the cooldowns of
Okay,
your group
boss.
are up when you want them.
Where's our tank? Hello?
So we pop it, we Lust. One thing on the Tredova boss fight that I always try to talk about is make sure that you are getting the Parasite, because the Parasite will try to mind control somebody. It comes up pretty quickly here. Here it comes, right here. So a Parasitic Pacification. You need to kick that. That should be your job as the shaman every single time because you have a ranged kick. And there's going to be moments in this fight where you have to like run away from your allies because you're tethered together with the blue line. And so you're like running away, and then Tredova will start casting Parasite. And that's when you need to kick the boss, but you need to run away. But we have a ranged kick, so it works really well for us to do that. So nothing crazy. Besides that on this boss, this is what you have to do. Just do as much damage as you can. And look, we're doing 20k on the boss. Like, I'm really happy about that.
Run away.
Here's an example of Mind Link. You get
Somebody
the blue.
Get consumption, please.
Those guys are connected together.
I'll get the Parasite.
Later on in the fight, she will also start casting Parasite at the same time that she casts the lines that connect you there. So there's Parasite again. You want to kick it. Very good. So we're doing lots of damage. I'm super happy with the build, actually. I thought it would be really weak on single target damage, and it's certainly not amazing. It's not like as good as maybe Witch Doctor Wolfbones plus like Night Fae, but for what it does on the AoE packs, it's perfectly fine that it doesn't do as much damage on the single target boss fights. So very, very good. We end up killing Tredova here, and then there's a couple trash packs that we need to get to finish up.
I missed my...
Again, we're doing like 24, 25k like consistently, right? Without any cooldowns. Chain Harvest is back. We're going to get a big heal here. Oh, I end up dying. I couldn't get out. I was slowed, and then I didn't get out of the thing. I should have popped I had Spirit Walk too, and I didn't pop it. We have Chain Harvest up here. Plus Fire Nova. 30k DPS right there. We're doing 30k. Like 28 to 30. Look at that. 31. Really good. The Flame Shock crits are just insane. And the Fire Nova's insane. Again, our Chain Harvest is coming off cooldown. Watch this Hot Hand Lava Lash proc. 22 seconds. We press it.
How am I dying?
Oh, it went from 13 to 8. Right? So that's 5 seconds off. It's so good, guys, that it just... You get so much cooldown reduction on Chain Harvest. And you can cast it again.
I mean, yeah.
Good healing. Watch this. Boom. Kindred gets healed to full there. We're doing 21k here. Everybody else is doing a lot less damage. So you're just able to get your damage out basically all the time. And that is the... I think this is the second last pack that we pull. A couple more packs here. 99. So what's really cool about the build in particular is like all the passive damage that's there. So we end up getting it down, and I didn't need it for rating. I was just kind of helping the guildies out. But what's really cool about this is that you get a lot of passive damage. Not only do you get cooldown reduction on Chain Harvest, and you can get those really insane, huge Chain Harvest hits going. Like we had it crit for... One crit for 30k, and that hit everybody for 30k, which means it did 150,000 damage. It crit on 5 people if there was 5 targets, right? So that's really good, but you also get passive ticking Flame Shock damage. Your Flame Shocks have 50% crit, and you're just spreading them for free. So all of your damage is really into this like passive Flame Shock ticking damage, which means you can respect like mechanics that are coming out. You can run away from the enemy for a second. You don't have to have permanent uptime on the mobs like some other builds. Like in contrast, something like the Doomwind's legendary requires that you are up front and at the enemies all the time. If you have to stop hitting the enemies when you have Doomwinds down, you are losing a tremendous amount of damage. That's what's so cool about this build, is that the passive damage that comes from your Flame Shocks critting for 50% more damage is absolutely huge. It's crazy how good that is, because it allows you to just do other things if you need to. If you have to get out of dodge, if there's a ground mechanic that you don't want to die to, if you're trying to focus really hard on kicking a particular enemy, getting your Cap Totem down, maybe your tank is about to die and you need to do some off healing. There's so many other things that you can do as a shaman, and this build allows you to do a lot of passive damage. Most of your damage is going to be wrapped up in Flame Shock. So it's really good for that, and I love the build in general. It just feels smooth and fun to play. You can see the breakdown here. Lava Lash, Fire Nova doing lots of damage. Again, I'm not pressing Fire Nova as much as I should be, and I got to work on that. But that's the build, guys. SKYBREAKERS plus VENTHYR. Absolutely slapping in Mythic Plus. You should take this right now into your Fortified dungeons, because it works very well in a Fortified week. I'm going to run this later tonight on some higher keys, like an 18, 19, try and get some work done there, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be great. So that's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, thank you guys so much for all the support. We're going to continue this conversation about my channel and about like how we're going to make this work in the future, but I just want to thank you guys so much for all the love and the support. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribing. Thank you for the gifts. I've got another light here now working for me. I'm so much brighter than I normally am, and I just really appreciate all the love that you guys are showing me. So keep it up, and I'll keep making videos, and until the next one, we'll see you later.